Welcome back to our show, your show, Let's Talk Stocks. In studio with us this morning, Mr. Cavaughn Edwards. He's a founder and CEO of Acepxl. Of course, that sounds like something to do with photography, because it is. Cavaughn, welcome to the show, man.
Thanks for having me, sir. Yeah.
You know, here we are, talking about photography in 2024. I thought that was something that was going out. I mean, the Kodak moment, we lost that decades ago. Photography still is a thing?
Well, definitely, photography is a thing, and the reason for that is everybody will definitely need to have a picture at some point in their life, whether even unfortunately your death certificate or your... So photography, a picture is very, very important, and we know that a picture tells 1,000 stories. So
interesting. So as I said, back in the days, when you talk about a photographer, I mean, I used to go down St. William Grant Park and you take a nice picture, and after it's taken, you have to wait a while for the person to develop the picture.
yes.
In Jamaican terms, we say they have to develop it up.
Right.
But essentially, we've moved significantly away from that. We've gone digital. But yet the industry, as the technology comes on, it seems to spurn more pictures. How is that possible?
Well, definitely. We are in a fast-paced world, as you know, and as you also know, technology, as technology improves, it makes life easier, and a lot of things becomes faster. So even the digital cameras will allow you to take, process, and reproduce those pictures on very quick succession. And even the AI that is now added to the system has allowed for, let's say you do a wedding, you can literally call like 200 pictures in 15 minutes and even re-edit those and have it ready. But at the same time, it does not negate from the fact that people want the experience of both worlds, because even though things are very fast now in the photography space, there's also people going back to, as I mentioned, the nostalgic feel of film. People are still spending time to develop film. I remember a creative committed 365 days to only take in film pictures, develop all of that. So it's two sides to it, and I just feel that the work still is and comes from your natural feel as a creative. So whatever makes you have fun in the process is whether you're using a digital or a film camera or whatever drives your creative direction.
That's interesting. I mean, people hear you saying, you know, it's the creative and what drives the creative. What happened to the camera takes what it sees?
Well, that's true. The camera is your tool. So a carpenter uses his tool to get a particular work done, but the carpenter will still have to add his sauce, his mix, his flair, to make like the design on a wall or the ceiling have a particular look. The same for photographers. Depending on, do you like darker image? Do you like a more image with contrast? Do you like your blacks to be very black, etc.? So the camera will give you a raw picture profile, whichever one you select, and then you, the creative, now has to add your zest, your style to it. Similar with myself, that's how I go about my creative work or process. So every creative, every photographer has their own process.
What I hear you saying, Cavaughn, is no, as the technology increase, the creative plays an even more pivotal role in that finished picture. Is that so?
Definitely. Let's talk about a wedding, for example. If I'm booked to do a wedding and I'm taking particular kinds of pictures, funny enough, a lot of creatives now are booked for their style.
Oh.
Right? So you have persons who only take particular kinds of image, and the client is attractive to that style over against another person's style. So, and that boils down to your creative process, how you see imagery, how you see colors, how you replicate those, and you create that draw, gravitation. So you're booked for how you produce or what you produce, and it is in that vein, I think.
That's very interesting, because you would have thought that as the technology increased, you would have depended less on necessarily the artist or the photographer. So
Right.
it's just anybody who know how to operate the camera can take a picture. But you are now saying it's actually the opposite of that. Cavaughn, you weren't always in this field. What drove you or pulled you to, enter?
Right. Starting out in, you leave college and you get a job and you're settling in, and you just feel like, oh, life should be this 9-to-5 experience and stuff, which was my case for about 8 years. I was a teacher. I used to teach IT and then robotics. And in the COVID period, like 2021, 22, when I'm a church person, so when we were helping out in the technical space, I remember having to pre-record, and not that I wasn't understanding this whole videoing and stuff, but it kind of brought me into it even more. And out of that, I said, wow, this just brings a new energy and feel to me. And also trying to figure out what else can I do with my time. And it is that pulled me into production work or photography, videography on a whole. And so that's where it started.
So you're not just photography, but you also do videos and so on. You're telling me about drones and so on, right? You're into that too?
Yes, definitely. Drones are, for me, like one of the most freeing feel in terms of videoing. One of I can say an experience. I remember chasing the sunset one time.
Chasing the sunset.
Right. I had an event in St. Thomas, and myself and 2 other persons that I was working with for the event was on our way to St. Thomas, and how we passed the mountains and the sunset that broke the mountain when we passed it. It just gave you ever watch a movie and it just looks amazing, and it's like, we said, no, we have to find this back, because we couldn't stop at the time.
Okay.
And so we planned another day and chased the sunset, and we used the drone to get it, and it was such amazing shots. Like, you could literally put those in movies to how it came out, and you're like, we have this vast resource, why not? And then the drone just complements it as your tool. And so drone just gives you a whole perspective, a new perspective on how some things look. Yeah.
That's interesting. Still photography, videography, drones. Where are we going with the industry for film and photography? What is the role of Jamaican creatives in that space?
Wow. Well, very good question. I think, well, I have a lot of thoughts on it, but I think I'll center it this way, where we have to see Jamaica as a brand. It is. Jamaica itself is a selling point. It's, even to this day, you see how the tourism sector has now been reboosted, and you realize that we, the creatives in Jamaica, as creatives, partnering with the nature that we have, the resource that we have, should help to advance that. And I think the videography, photography industry is one that will help to complement or extend and sell the beauty of Jamaica to the world. And I think that we play a significant role, because not everywhere in Jamaica has been captured. There are some beautiful places that have not been even discovered in the fullest sense. And we as the documenters...
And some beautiful people too.
And some beautiful people, right. So we as the documenters have to know that we play a significant role. So if it is that you're doing a film, you're using some place deep in Clarendon, for example, and you're like, you didn't know that these places exist in Jamaica. So we are documenting these visual depictions. We should see our work as crucial to that end. And I think that's how we should see it over against anything else.
So we've been chatting with Cavaughn Edwards, CEO and founder of Acepxl. Of course, we thought photography in its purest form was dead. But of course, the artistry in people like Cavaughn has given breathing new life into it. You heard it in the first part of our interview. Join us on that second part to hear more of how important photography is and why a picture tells 1,000 words. As we always say here on Let's Talk Stocks, we give you information to make better financial decisions. Come back with us tomorrow morning at 9, another wonderful program lined up for you.